What types of problems could the Aggies present to Bama this weekend?
Well, if they do create any problems, it's got to come from their quarterback, Kellen Mond. Kellen Mond has been pretty good for 4 years, but pretty good doesn't beat Bama. Kellen Mond has to play spectacular, and he also needs help. His number one receiver opted out. Guess what? That doesn't help. You look at all of the teams that have upset Bama over the last decade. They have done it with excellent quarterback play. They have done it with great skill players. They have done it with scramblers that have been able to buy time with their legs. Kellen Mond has that ability, but he has to go from pretty good to really good, and he's got to do it soon.
Tim Tebow, I need to stay with Texas A&M because I like Jimbo Fisher. I really do, but he's been there. This is his third season. He was like 9-4 his first year. He was 8-5 last year. Well, hell, Kevin Sumlin was doing 8-5 seasons when he got let go. He didn't sign for $75 million. I mean, could you talk to me about Texas A&M's program and how we should be feeling about Jimbo Fisher and the program in light of the fact that they're clearly not seen in the same light as Alabama or even LSU, but they're in the same conference. I mean, can you talk to me about that for a second?
Well, I think that depends on what lens and what glasses you're looking through. What lens do you see them through? Because if you're looking at the future, it looks pretty bright. They're in the top few in recruiting every year. They're recruiting some big-time quarterbacks, some big-time skill. But when you talk about talent, that just means that they haven't done it yet. So they have a lot of talent that they got to turn into really good players. And so that's really the next step for A&M is they've been killing it in recruiting. They got some big-time players, and they're trying to build a culture. And I still think Jimbo Fisher is one of the best coaches in the country. I think you got to give him a little time, and he's got to get his players in there. Is that going to start when he gets his quarterback or his skill players? I'm not sure, but they got a lot of talent, and they got to take that next step.
All right, Tim, the big one tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m., right here on ESPN. Number 7, Auburn. So who's 7 and who is 4? Number 4, Georgia. Tell me about it.
Well, listen, the biggest question mark in this game is the quarterback position for Georgia. Who's going to play and how they're going to play. Stetson Bennett came in last week, and I love his story. He's an underrated kid that played pretty well. But also, JT Daniels got cleared this week, the transfer from USC, highly touted, played really well at USC, is a really talented thrower, has a shot to be an NFL quarterback. Are they going to play both of these guys? Are they going to give JT the opportunity to step in, and having never played as a Georgia Bulldog, and start in this game? That's a big question mark. But don't underestimate Bo Nix and Seth Williams, that connection for Auburn. I think it'll be one of the best connections in the SEC. Seth Williams, you're going to be seeing him in the NFL soon. He is a freak. He has Odell Beckham type range when he goes up and catches the football. This kid is unique. You are going to be talking about him for a long time to come.
How big of a threat is Georgia? How big of a threat is Georgia to Alabama in your estimation, considering the fact that the former defensive coordinator of Alabama is their head coach? What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah. I think Georgia's a threat, but Georgia can't worry about Alabama right now. Georgia's got to be focused on Florida because they're in a race for the East, and Florida has a much easier schedule than Georgia. Florida even could possibly lose to Georgia down the street in Jacksonville and still might even make the SEC championship because Georgia has that hard of a schedule. We get to see Georgia play Bama here pretty soon, and Georgia has an absolute gauntlet, and that's going to make it really hard. So that's why Georgia cannot fall in this game to Auburn, because if they do, I don't know that they can catch Florida.
Tim, 2 teams coming off of appearances in last year's playoff at least, right? Oklahoma and LSU, both coming off losses. Given this season, given the fact we've seen in the NFL already a game at least postponed, we don't know what's going to happen. Can either one of these teams make the playoff again?
I don't really think so, but if one of them could, it would be Oklahoma because LSU's schedule is ridiculous. They got to play Florida, they got to play Auburn, they got to play Alabama, Mississippi State, a lot of good teams, and they got to do it in a row. That is a gauntlet. I do not think LSU will be able to get over that hurdle. I think it's too much. Oklahoma Oklahoma, if they rally together, they play Texas. That could be a big win. Oklahoma State near the end of their season, so they could possibly get in. Because I also think this will be the year that multiple playoff teams will have a loss going into the college football playoff. And so I think Oklahoma has a better shot of getting in than LSU does.
All right, and Tim, this weekend Clemson faces Virginia, but next week is the game they're really looking forward to. That's against number 8 Miami. So what do you need to see from the Tigers this week to prove that they are actually ready for the Canes next weekend?
Yeah, really nothing. Just get a win. I've seen what I needed to see out of them. And when you're coming off of so much hype, pressure comes with it. After championships and another championship performance by Trevor Lawrence, there's so much pressure that comes with it. There's so much from your teammates, from fans, from coaches, from everything, right? Well, you know what pressure does? It either bursts pipes or it makes diamonds. Clemson right now looks like a diamond. Everything they do, they're shining. Trevor Lawrence isn't pressing. He's not letting the pressure get to him. He's going through his reads. He's going 1 to 2 to 3. He's checking it down. I mean, they're running zone read in the red area. No one's even 10 yards to him when he's walking in the end zone. Right now, Clemson just has to focus. The biggest knock to Clemson in the past is they always lost one that they shouldn't have lost, to Pitt or one of these teams that's not as good. They don't look like that team right now. They look like a team that can play against the big boys, but also is focused enough to take care of the little boys when they need to.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.